Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Make sense of a language. Restate words from one language into another language. I have to translate when my in-laws from Austria visit the U.S. Change from one form or medium into another. Brock translated collage into oil. Be equivalent in effect. The growth in income translates into greater purchasing power. Be translatable, or be translatable in a certain way. Poetry often does not translate. Bring to a certain spiritual state. Change the position of figures or bodies in space without rotation. Determine the amino acid sequence of a protein during its synthesis by using information on the messenger RNA. Express, as in simple and less technical language. Can you translate the instructions in this manual for a layman? Subject to movement in which every part of the body moves parallel to and the same distance as every other point on the body. Make sense of. Assign a meaning to. How do you interpret his behavior? Make sense of a language. Give an interpretation or rendition of. Restate words from one language into another language. Can you interpret the speech of the visiting dignitaries? Create an image or likeness of. Give an interpretation or explanation to. Have or contain a certain wording or form. The passage reads as follows. Make sense of a language. Can you read Greek? Obtain data from magnetic tapes or other digital sources. This dictionary can be read by the computer. Indicate a certain reading of gauges and instruments. The gauge read empty. Interpret something in a certain way. Convey a particular meaning or impression. I read this address as a satire. Be a student of a certain subject. She is reading for the bar exam. Audition for a stage role by reading parts of a role. Interpret something that is written or printed. Read the advertisement. Interpret the significance of, as of palms, tea leaves, intestines, the sky, also of human behavior. She read the sky and predicted rain. Look at, interpret, and say out loud something that is written or printed. The king will read the proclamation at noon. Something that is read. The article was a very good read. To hear and understand. I read you loud and clear. Believe to be the case. I understand you have no previous experience? Make sense of a language. She understands French. Perceive, an idea or situation, mentally. I don't understand the idea. Be understanding of. You don't need to explain, I understand. Know and comprehend the nature or meaning of. She did not understand her husband. Give something useful or necessary to. Melt, fat or lard, in order to separate out impurities. Render fat in a casserole. Give an interpretation or rendition of. The pianist rendered the Beethoven sonata beautifully. Bestow. Render thanks. To surrender someone or something to another. Render up the prisoners. give or supply. The estate renders some revenue for the family. Pass down. Render a verdict. Show in, or as in, a picture. The face of the child is rendered with much tenderness in this painting. Restate. Words, from one language into another language. She rendered the French poem into English. Give back. Render money. Make over as a return. They had to render the estate. A substance similar to stucco but exclusively applied to masonry walls. Cause to become. The shot rendered her immobile. Coat with plastic or cement. Render the brick walls in the den. Change or alter in form, appearance, or nature. This experience transformed her completely. Change from one form or medium into another. Change in outward structure or looks. He transformed into a monster. Change. A bacterial cell, into a genetically distinct cell by the introduction of DNA from another cell of the same or closely related species. Convert. One form of energy, to another. Transform energy to light. Increase or decrease, an alternating current or voltage. Subject to a mathematical transformation. To say, state, or perform again. Make or do or perform again. Repeat an earlier theme of a composition. Do over. To say again or imitate. An event that repeats. The events today were a repeat of yesterday's. Happen or occur again. Render verbally. Retell a story. Make into fiction. To say, state, or perform again. To say, state, or perform again. To say, state, or perform again. Run or be performed again. The function iterates. To say, state, or perform again. To say, state, or perform again. Insert words into texts, often falsifying it thereby. Cause to change. Make different. Cause a transformation. The advent of the automobile may have altered the growth pattern of the city. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Remove the ovaries of. Make an alteration to. This dress needs to be altered. Lay aside, abandon, or leave for another. The car changed lanes. Cause to change. Make different. Cause a transformation. The discussion has changed my thinking about the issue. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. He changed his name. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The change was intended to increase sales. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Her mood changes in accordance with the weather. Give to, and receive from, one another. Would you change places with me? Become deeper in tone. His voice began to change when he was 12 years old. Change from one vehicle or transportation line to another. She changed in Chicago on her way to the East Coast. A difference that is usually pleasant. It is a refreshing change to meet a woman mechanic. A different or fresh set of clothes. She brought a change in her overnight bag. A relational difference between states, especially between states before and after some event. He attributed the change to their marriage. A thing that is different. He inspected several changes before selecting one. Change clothes. Put on different clothes. Coins of small denomination regarded collectively. He had a pocketful of change. Money received in return for its equivalent in a larger denomination or a different currency. He got change for a 20 and used it to pay the taxi driver. Remove or replace the coverings of. Father had to learn how to change the baby. The action of changing something. The change of government had no impact on the economy. The balance of money received when the amount you tender is greater than the amount due. I paid with a 20 and pocketed the change. The result of alteration or modification. There were marked changes in the lining of the lungs. Undergo a change. Become different in essence, losing one's or its original nature. She changed completely as she grew older. Cause to change. Make different. Cause a transformation. Add a modifier to a constituent. Make less severe or harsh or extreme. Please modify this letter to make it more polite. Be priced at. Represent, as of a character on stage. Form or compose. These constitute my entire belonging. Be identical or equivalent to. Have life, be alive. A light, strong, brittle, gray, toxic, bivalent metallic element. Have an existence, be extant. Work in a specific place, with a specific subject, or in a specific function. Have the quality of being. Copula, used with an adjective or a predicate noun. Occupy a certain position or area, be somewhere. What is behind this behavior? Spend or use time. I may be an hour. To remain unmolested, undisturbed, or uninterrupted, used only in infinitive form. Let her be. A person who is of equal standing with another in a group. Be identical or equivalent to. $1 equals 1,000 rubles these days. Be equal to in quality or ability. Make equal, uniform, corresponding, or matching. Let's equalize the duties among all employees in this office. Having the requisite qualities or resources to meet a task. He was equal to the task. Having the same quantity, value, or measure as another. On equal terms. Cause to form a channel. Make a channel for. Provide with a channel. Direct the course. Determine the direction of traveling. Send from one person or place to another. Transmit or serve as the medium for transmission. Broadcast over the airwaves, as in radio or television. Send from one person or place to another. Transmit a message. Transfer to another. Transfer from one place or period to another. Transfer somebody to a different position or location of work. The act of moving something from one location to another. Application of a skill learned in one situation to a different but similar situation. Move around. Transfer the packet from his trouser pockets to a pocket in his jacket. Transferring ownership. Change from one vehicle or transportation line to another. The act of transferring something from one form to another. The transfer of the music from record to tape suppressed much of the background noise. Someone who transfers or is transferred from one position to another. The best student was a transfer from LSU. Send from one person or place to another. Lift and reset in another soil or situation. Shift the position or location of, as for business, legal, educational, or military purposes. A ticket that allows a passenger to change conveyances. Cause to change ownership. I transferred my stock holdings to my children. Move from one place to another. Transfer the data. The act of moving something from one location to another. Hold spellbound. A mechanism that transports magnetic tape across the read, write heads of a tape playback recorder. Something that serves as a means of transportation. A state of being carried away by overwhelming emotion. Move while supporting, either in a vehicle or in one's hands or on one's body. The commercial enterprise of moving goods and materials. Transport commercially. Send from one person or place to another. An exchange of molecules, and their kinetic energy and momentum, across the boundary between adjacent layers of a fluid or across cell membranes. Move something or somebody around, usually over long distances. Transmit or serve as the medium for transmission. A television station and its programs. A satellite TV channel. A bodily passage or tube lined with epithelial cells and conveying a secretion or other substance. Poison is released through a channel in the snake's fangs. A path over which electrical signals can pass. A channel is typically what you rent from a telephone company. Often plural, a means of communication or access. It must go through official channels. A way of selling a company's product either directly or via distributors. Possible distribution channels or wholesalers or small retailers or retail chains or direct mailers or your own stores. A long narrow furrow cut either by a natural process, such as erosion, or by a tool, as e.g. a groove in a phonograph record. Send from one person or place to another. A deep and relatively narrow body of water, as in a river or a harbor or a strait linking two larger bodies, that allows the best passage for vessels. The ship went aground in the channel. A passage for water, or other fluids, to flow through. The fields were crossed with irrigation channels. Direct the flow of. Channel information towards a broad audience. Cause to form a channel. Channelize a stream. Make a channel for, provide with a channel. Channelize the country for better transportation. Direct the course, determine the direction of traveling. Send from one person or place to another. Give an incentive for action. This moved me to sacrifice my career. Be in a state of action. Change location. Move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. The soldiers moved towards the city in an attempt to take it before night fell. The act of changing location from one place to another. The movement of people from the farms to the cities. Cause to move or shift into a new position or place, both in a concrete and in an abstract sense. The director moved more responsibilities onto his new assistant. Perform an action, or work out or perform an action. We must move quickly. The act of changing your residence or place of business. They say that 3 moves equal 1 fire. Have a turn. Make one's move in a game. Have an emotional or cognitive impact upon. Follow a procedure or take a course. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Movement as a sign of life. Progress by being changed. Propose formally, in a debate or parliamentary meeting. Arouse sympathy or compassion in. Her fate moved us all. Change residence, affiliation, or place of employment. We moved from Idaho to Nebraska. Dispose of by selling. The chairman of the company told the salesman to move the computers. Game. A player's turn to take some action permitted by the rules of the game. Go or proceed from one point to another. The debate moved from family values to the economy. Live one's life in a specified environment. She moves in certain circles only. Move so as to change position, perform a non-translational motion. He moved his hand slightly to the right. The act of deciding to do something. He didn't make a move to help. Cause to move or shift into a new position or place, both in a concrete and in an abstract sense. Take the place of or have precedence over. Terminate the employment of. Discharge from an office or position. Cause to move, usually with force or pressure. The refugees were displaced by the war. The act of discovering something. Come upon, as if by accident, meet with. We find this idea in Plato. Discover or determine the existence, presence, or fact of. Come to believe on the basis of emotion, intuitions, or indefinite grounds. I find him to be obnoxious. Perceive or be contemporaneous with. Get or find back. Recover the use of. Accept and make use of one's personality, abilities, and situation. My son went to Berkeley to find himself. Make a discovery. Receive a specified treatment, abstract. These aspects of civilization do not find expression or receive an interpretation. A productive insight. Establish after a calculation, investigation, experiment, survey, or study. Find the product of 2 numbers. Make a discovery, make a new finding. Get something or somebody for a specific purpose. Decide on and make a declaration about. Find someone guilty. Come upon after searching. Find the location of something that was missed or lost. Did you find your glasses? Obtain through effort or management. Perceive oneself to be in a certain condition or place. Succeed in reaching. Arrive at. Get to know or become aware of, usually accidentally. Find out, learn, or determine with certainty, usually by making an inquiry or other effort. Find out if he speaks Russian. Trap. Especially in an error or in a reprehensible act. Establish after a calculation, investigation, experiment, survey, or study. Find out, learn, or determine with certainty, usually by making an inquiry or other effort. Be careful or certain to do something. Make certain of something. Establish after a calculation, investigation, experiment, survey, or study. Learn or discover with certainty. Decide upon or fix definitely. Reach, make, or come to a decision about something. Find out, learn, or determine with certainty, usually by making an inquiry or other effort. Establish after a calculation, investigation, experiment, survey, or study. Shape or influence. Give direction to. Experience often determines ability. Fix conclusively or authoritatively. Settle conclusively. Come to terms. Fix in scope. Fix the boundaries of. The tree determines the border of the property. Express the same message in different words. Rewording for the purpose of clarification. Express the same message in different words.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.